So my storage did run out. My storage did run out, as I mentioned. But what I wanted to go through, like I said, the three things I want this video topics is gonna be: number one, finding happiness. Being able to find happiness I want to discuss. Number two, I wanted to just discuss real quick, like some quick stories about the Washington, Idaho, Montana area, that far west north US, and the hill stories and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. Number three is just a quick run through, because it just so happens that the last few years and so, what I happen to have been doing, it has been trucking. What I happen to have been, you know that I put great things into and became skilled and put knowledge and stuff like that, among other things such as diet, nutrition, no toxins, things like that. But number one, so when it comes to finding happiness, which is a rough topic to talk about, because many times in life we're not always going to be given the perfect environment for happiness. We're not going to be given the obstacle. It may be obstacles, it may be crazy things, it may be things that's insane, it may be things that you ask yourself why, or why did this happen, or things like that. But to the best of one's ability, I've been seeing, I realize it is to try to still find happiness in whatever situation. I had situations where I had situations where I was unemployed completely. Where I was unemployed, I still tried to find happiness. I still tried to go do 10 applications, 20 applications, go hard with that. Go walking a little bit, go to a park, go to things like that. So finding happiness, I wanted to just share. Number one, I wanted to just share because that's a topic that I feel like is not often addressed enough and stuff like that. I wanted to just mention it's something to keep in mind. It's not really kept in mind, I think, or rotated enough in the algorithm enough as it should be. That, and sometimes I see people and they look kind of grumpy. I see, rather it be sometimes a dude, or sometimes women, our women, seems kind of upset and stuff like that, in places like the parks and places where people you would think would be happy, and still, a lot up here. Try in that topic that I mentioned, finding happiness. Try in that topic that I'm mentioning. First thing is just finding happiness. Like I said, I had times where I was going through this, times where I was going through that, times where I was going through this. And I do have stressed out times. Everybody does. But I try to overall make my flow of the week, or the flow include some kind of time, like stretching I did today after these hills and stuff like that. After these hills story I'm about to tell you right now. So the second thing is a quick thing about these hills and stuff like that, just the terrain of Washington, Idaho, Montana. Specifically those. I didn't go through Wyoming yet, but that's in the vicinities as well. The Dakotas was pretty flat. The Dakotas and stuff, the Dakotas was pretty flat. As I got to Montana, I would say about two or three major hills that was steep decline. And Montana. Yeah. So cuz I'm doing a load from Georgia. I'm doing a big load from Georgia all the way to Washington State, but I already reached. I already finished it, but I'm just I wanted to just mention some fun things about interesting things. But man, I'm not gonna do the West. I'm not gonna bother do the deep West, the far West. I'm gonna stay like Midwest. But still, I can't believe I did a load a 3,000 mile semi truck load 33,000 in the back, and the truck weigh about 32,000. So I'm hauling 62,000 semi, the regular 53-footer dry van, the biggest semi. Next to oversized, the ones that have those big ass flags that say oversized. But that's anyway. Which there was people like that too going down the hills. So when you reach Idaho, going into Washington, it was about 20, literally 20. But that's what I wanted to mention. Okay, I was trying to remember what the hell. Montana area. All of that is the I-90. I think 90 west. The Dakotas is 94. So 94 west, and then it turns into 90 west the rest of the way from Montana, Idaho, Washington State, Seattle, Washington, all of that. Man, when you reach Montana, Idaho, it was about 20 steep as downhills, like steep, like when you look down, like steep, like when you looking down out the semi truck, or when you looking down, like when you looking over a cliff, man. Like when you looking over a balcony. You ever stood like on a balcony, you look down, you see how it drop? That's damn near how steep some of these hills is that you driving. So real quick, so like I said, my storage is ridiculous on this phone, but it's low. So there's this thing called a Jake brake. So because you cannot use your regular brakes in this scenario. So there's this thing called a Jake brake on the right hand side. That's that thing that be making the semi trucks sound like like down the highway and stuff like that. So it's on the right. You got 3 levels, and you basically, from skill and from time and time doing it. Like over in Tennessee, I'm kind of used to it a little bit, the hills, but not like this over in Tennessee. So I went through Tennessee a lot with it on the semi. So you use a Jake brake and it reduces some of the thing. Basically, long story short. But 20, man, like Tennessee, I think it was like 3 max. On the I-70, I-75, 75 north turns into 24 west. It's about like 2 or 3 big hills. Maybe 4% grade, 5% grade. That's basically, the grade is basically telling you the level of steepness of the decline. When you see that, and the thing in your headset, when you got your GPS, it says warning. that should, every time that you come up to one of these right here, like I said, like if the regular highway on a regular state like Georgia or something, if it's like this, these things is like this in a semi. So it would tell you, it would say 4% grade, it would say 5% grade, or 6% grade. That means decline. That's telling you like the decline level and the intensity of the shit that you're about to base. So Idaho, Montana. So the Montana going into Idaho border, is about 3-mile to 4-mile stretches of straight drop. And they got the nerve for it to be winding roads too, curving roads. So that's a flat highway. You like this, and then it's curving as you're going downhill. I'm talking about on top of using the Jake brake to help slow it down. I'm damn near gripping the steering wheel like this, man. Like, and all you hear is. And then the hill will kind of like a little bit kind of even, just a little bit, and then you take off one of the levels to not kind of overwork the engine. You take off one level, you pick up back speed to like 49, 50, 51, because you're basically trying to maintain the speed to not pass between 45 to about 55 max. Anything around 55, not even 55, anything close to 55, you panicking, because like, you know that if this truck kind of lose control and you looking down like this, You know what I'm saying? And, you know, over a cliff, and it's like winding roads too. So if you got too much speed, lose control, you going over a cliff type shit. It's craziness. But you know, like I said, that's experience and skill, experience, and time again. You know, that's one thing about doing 60-hour, 65, 70-hour work weeks is you're going through every situation, you know? So my skill level in everything from tight turns to going through parking lots. I came through this parking lot. You wouldn't even think a semi truck could fit in this parking lot. But my ability to watch the corners, to watch my mirrors, to watch the corners of other people's car, to watch the back of my trailer. The back of my trailer, to watch my corner from not touching anything and not even touching the curb perfectly missing the curb by like a few inches here, a few inches over there, get around that turn, get around the next one, get out, hit the highway. But Montana, Idaho, Washington is literally 20 something hills. That's all I wanted to say on that, is that it's like it don't stop. Like, you know how, like, okay, you going down another hill, like holding onto the steering wheel, like with both hands like this, you know, kind of like not that bad because I'm comfortable with it, but you still kind of grip more than you would if you just driving on the regular flat highway. This how you look when you in your car, right? You know, you just kind of like chilling, playing a YouTube video. You on these downhills and you like this. You like gripping that shit. So 20 hills, 20 steep downhills. It's about 5 minutes of nonstop like steep downhill, and braking, you know, holding the Jake brake and keeping control. Then you might get like 1 minute, bro, maybe 2 minutes at the most, that is kind of like a little, and then another downhill steep that you holding on the steering wheel and got the Jake brake going and watching and going around as you're going down around curves, and you get about another 2-3 minutes. Then another steep hill for 5-10 minutes. 5 to 10 minute intervals of steep hill, and then you get like 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 minutes of man. So that leads me to number 3. I'm just gonna run through some things with truck stuff. But yeah, going back to that first thing, that's why it's so important to have some time of like relaxation. I'm glad that, you know, I'm glad that I've become a man who, for a long time, who even if I need to go be right back or whatever, I go do my walking, rather it be Indian style or meditation and things of peace. Like I said, going back to that first topic, finding happiness. So number 1 was about finding happiness. Even if you're going through crazy things, back to back, endless steep downhills, anxiety build up if you're gonna lose control and you know, lose everything, or you know, or everybody out there, people out there, as far as your day-to-day with your job, you know, your job stresses or somebody's stress or job stress or obstacles and things of that nature, that too, whatever you're dealing with, but finding that, you know, that piece of happiness. Because if you, for example, if you have somebody who you was talking to, who you could tell who really love you, treat you good, things like that nature too, that's another thing where finding that center and reflecting, or happiness or reflecting, might make you to slow down and keep that thing that really was somebody love you or something good. So that's the first topic. And the second one, I went as far as that story that I wanted to share, is some interesting things. The third thing is like, yeah, so I pursued truck as far as the last couple of years. That's what my great skill, one of my great skills before this was like construction. I have knowledge in construction, knowledge in carpentry, knowledge in that kind of thing. I have knowledge in, you know, a little bit sales and and hospitality and things like that. So, Truck, number one, the requirements. Number one, I would say a predetermining skill, if somebody should or not, would be attention to the road. Do they pay good attention to the road? Do they check their mirrors even in their regular car? Because you have to be doing that. You have to have an eye on it, not 24/7, but frequently. If you feel something like some of the preliminary skills to even begin the process would be the preliminary skills. Does this person do they have or not? Good reaction time, good sensing, checking your mirrors, good dealing with frequently, daily or every other day unforeseen. Long hours, 12-hour days, 12-hour days, 13-hour days, 11-hour days, 13-hour days, 14-hour days, unforeseen obstacles, like I said, reaction time, being able to see, look ahead, also not too distracted. Is it somebody who just cannot put the phone down even for a few minutes or something? So that's preliminary skills. Willingness to do 12-hour days, 13-hour days, 14-hour days if needed. Making things happen. Number two is the preliminary checks. So last 5 years clean background, last 5 years clean motor vehicle MVR, motor vehicle report, clean drug tests. You can't do trees. I'll say about a year or two. I think if you stop for like a year, like a year, however long it takes to pass a drug test. Clean drug test, clean background, clean motor vehicle report, and then willingness to go take a test, DMV test, and then you go find a school for I think a month and a half. Number three, then you're ready for CDL school. Number three, about a month and a half usually. You got willingness to be sent out with a group. It's usually a group setting. They'll usually do 8, 9, 10, or 11 of y'all. You'll be in a group where you chop it up. Like, hey, what's going on, y'all? So what's up? A little bit of a group. It's a group setting. Usually standing up too, so it's not classroom too much. You're not sitting in a classroom just listening, but you're kind of like just chilling with the group, and then maybe taking turns backing up. That leads me to number 4. So in the school, you have to ability or willingness to read and recite like a 5 to 10 pages, pretty much word for word of the truck components. So the engine components. This is my alternator. My alternator is not cracked, broken, or leaking. Belts look good underneath. It's not cracked. My lights, my headlights, clearance lights, and tail lights, and overhead lamps are all working and not cracked or broken. My brakes, checking around the brakes, which on the day-to-day, after, like, as you start working, like I've been now about a year, maybe a little over a year now out on the road, over the road. You are checking, but you're checking just the things that you know what I'm saying? That a high tendency to go faulty or a high tendency for something to happen. So really quick examples. Me, for example, every morning I walk out there and I check the air and electrical cables. Every morning I walk out there and check stuff like that. Every morning I walk out there and check. I'm not even going to show you right now. I'm kind of lazy right now. Fuck all that. So, you go out there and you check the air and electrical cables. Your tires. Most people use a small hammer. You want to get that recoil. Like you want the tire to really push your hand back if it's kind of mushy. All that stuff, man. You walk around, you check your tires, the tail lights, and stuff like that. You do this every day. You do this twice a day. Because you jumping on the highway, like I said, dealing with going like this. You don't want to die. So you check some of those main stuff and stuff like that. But to me, that's pretty much it, right? So it was the preliminary skills. Does the person considering have like good reaction time? Never in an accident, really. Maybe 10 years ago or so, but in the last 5 years, like, you're not hitting stuff, because you're seeing it, but your good ability to see it before it kind of happen, or stay in your lane, not beat on people who like look like you can't stay in your lane, and just chill with it too. I'm not trying to make it sound like crazy, but you do have to have like decent perception skills, decent make decision making. You're making decisions like, should I get off on this stop? Should I go another 30 miles? Should I go another 200 miles? Should I push? Should I take a break? So decision making, checking your mirror skills, reaction time skills, willingness to stay out 12-hour skills. The second thing is the requirements as far as like background, say 4 or 5 years. Motor vehicle about 4 or 5 years, nothing major. You could have like little stuff. And then the third thing is to go to the school. And then the fourth thing would be, once you finish the school, usually you might have did the schooling through a company that says, hey, they'll lie and say like they'll cover the school, but what that really means is they're signing your ass up. Like, they're putting your name down, and all you gotta do is show up. And then the school and the company have an agreement whereby you working, the school costs usually around $5,000, $6,000. But this is like something that you pay back like in the future. It's not like you have to have it on the spot or whatever, and you pay back. And you pay it back like 150 out your check, 200 out your check. You'll have it paid back in like 2 years or so, or a year. 200 times 50 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. No, 100. Let's say 150 weeks. That's 100. It's 5,000. So 100. I'm sorry, 100 into weeks. You know, I'm tripping. I don't think they take 100 weekly. I think they take 100 like monthly. So there's 10 to 12. There's 12 months in a year. 1,200. That's 1,200. So at that rate, it would be 2-3 years, but you can speed it up. You can pay any amount. And that's it. You're working with the company. You will also one was preliminary skills, like must-haves to even think about it. Preliminary checks. Number 2, number 3 to school, and number 4 you go to the company. They're gonna put you with a mentor. They're gonna put you with another driver, with a driver trainer who basically sits in the passenger seat and critiques you, but gives you good advice, good ass advice. Shout out to my trainers. I was about to because my first a little off subject, but my first trainer was with Pam. That was a guy, but my second trainer was a girl, for Schneider. But super skilled, super by the book, super made me not miss nothing. Super said, "What are you doing? You know, so look, what are you doing? You should have been at like 12. You should have been at 15." Like, one of the things I used to do was when I'm coming to a red light and there's cars, and for some reason I would brake kind of late. Like, I'm braking, like I'm not gonna hit the car, but I'm still going like 29, 30 within, whereas like within like 100 feet. And then, because I'm one of those people that used to brake like kind of like at the last, you know what I'm saying? I'm paying full attention, but I'm used to the vehicle kind of like coming to a stop, at that point. She wanted it to be where you're already kind of cruising at like 15 or 10 and then coming up to the car slowly instead of like going like 25 and then. So she used to get on me like, why are you not, she used to kind of, be a little, like, make me feel like I'm fucking it up, you know what I'm saying? But that's a good thing. It's a good thing. It was like repetitive. They watch every turn. They watch everything that you're doing and doing wrong and kind of give you little tips and stuff like that. But the fifth thing is like you learn some shit out. So like I said, 12-hour days, 13-hour days, 65-hour weeks. Do get a nice check, especially on the company. And what else? Back into the dock doors. You gotta back the semi and trailer to the dock doors perfectly. These 2 dock doors that's the exact same size as the trailer, and you gotta perfectly back it in at an angle. And you doing this in front of other truckers who most of the time just be chilling, tired as hell, usually probably like in their 60s or something. Sometimes my age, 30s, 40s, 20s even sometimes, but a lot of the time, most of the time, 60s, you know, OGs over the road and stuff like that, old heads and stuff, most of the time. Sometimes 40s, sometimes 30s, sometimes 50s, sometimes 60s, whatever. But it is you doing your thing, backing it up into the dock at all kinds of angles, and then the trailer doing this and the snake. You doing that with repetitive. You doing that in front of like 20 trucks a lot of times. You hope it, you know, you hoping ain't everybody chilling, ain't nobody paying attention, because you might make a little, you might gotta back it, kind of come forward again and do it a little better, and then the truck kind of going the other way and things kind of doing like this and kind of doing some of that in the beginning. Not me, because after 6 months you should expect yourself. I mean, expect at that point, like mandatory, because muscle memory. So about my 5th or 6th month in, I was just zooming in and backing it in. Maybe like a quick pull up in there, probably 20 seconds, 30 seconds or something like that. But yeah, man, just the daily like conditions, ice, that's another subject, snow, being wise with that. So just a lot of conditions and stuff like that. I've been wanting to discuss. So I did it. So I put out a video sharing. That's my Rick's 101 tutorial 101 on the career of over the road trucking. That's my, you know, sharing with you guys something that for the last couple of years I have went over the road. I went to damn near every state in the USA now, except the Midwest. What do you call that? The far west, but the middle. So like I haven't been to like New Mexico, Nevada, California, but I've been everywhere else. I brought semi-truck load up to Chicago, Illinois, back to Florida in one load. New Jersey, New York, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Missouri, Nevada, North Dakota, South Dakota, Missouri, Washington State now, Seattle, Washington, and Idaho, the mountains, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, and then Omaha, Nebraska. So that's the I took the 29, I think, the 29 north through Omaha, Nebraska, and then that's when it touches South Dakota. You make a left onto the 94 west, South Dakota. Keep going, South Dakota. You have the option of going North Dakota and catching the 90 from there, or you can stay on the 94 and the two merge. The 90 joins, the 94 joins into the 90 at the Idaho area. So it's a field that I've been mastering, and I've been going all across the U.S., and I've been driving semi trucks, man, over the road now for a little minute. So, you know, it's a chapter, you know. Rather I do it the next 20 years, 30 years, maybe, which would be my 60s. But bottom line is, whatever we all do and whatever you do, whatever we do, is that you do it well. You know, because like I said, it's in everything. There's so many stipulations. What you guys do, you gotta have high performance in any. This is any field, high performance, and keep up with this. So we do our best. You know, I'm grateful that I crushed, and I'm strong-minded, responsible, go-getting man as far as 65-hour weeks, 70-hour weeks, 65-hour work weeks, 65-hour work weeks, 68-hour work week, 70, 60. That's what my weekly hours show up as. 65, 70. So willingness to put in the work, that's what we can control, right? As far as, you know, the other stipulations, who knows, right? But as long as we try our best and stuff like that. So I'm grateful. I'm over a year now, over the road, bringing semi-truck across all this U.S. So I wanted to share a video as far as some of the things, So like I said, those five is a quick way to remember. Like, hey, what's the five? It's the recommended pre-skills that I recommend somebody to even think about it. Is that first? Are you willing to do 12 and 13-hour days? Are you willing to do 13-hour work days? Are you willing to stay out? Are you willing to go through training with a mentor while being anxious and nervous your first month? Are you willing to check things and stuff like that? And it's like your life depend on it. It could really be fatal. So that, and then the second thing being what's required as far as past drug tests, clean background, clean this, clean that. The third thing is what to apply for. You school related, about a month and a half. Study for the page, the 5 to 10 page pre-trip. Past that, group setting, double occupancy lodging. If you're doing lodging, if it's out of town, double occupancy usually the time. They're trying to save money. The fourth thing is then you go train with a mentor. Be willing to take criticism. Be good at taking constructive criticism. Good attitude. Follow, checking your mirrors, stopping, checking the following distance, carrying that load, backing into the dock door, showing and telling with that, and then finally different things like that. So yeah, so that's the things of the video I wanted to discuss. This is my probably first and last doing a long video like this. But like I said, this is your man Rick. I wanted to discuss how I find happiness in what I do. I mean, every now and then you have energies or certain obstacles or certain energies that do try to take you out, that try to take you out of what you already, the greatness that you have as far as in you, as far as if you take time to improve and stuff like that, as I'm grateful to do. But as far as like, sometimes you have to like really keep it honest and really keep it real, like, hey, this is not how that go, hey, don't do this like this, stuff like that. But for the most part, I wanted to share with you guys how I think as far as flow. I'm somebody of flow. I'm a man of flow. I'm a man of good things. I'm a man of reflection. I'm a man of knowledge, building up knowledge, sharing knowledge, passing on. I'm a man of knowledge and extensive long hours, grit, protect, provide, best I can. Knowledge, share knowledge, improve communication, good vibes, good energy. We both have to be able to do a good job or take constructive criticism well, both sides. You know what I mean? Not just one-sided. And just look at it for the knowledge. It's the quest for knowledge. I'm a man of knowledge. Like I said, finding happiness. I'm a man finding happiness. My walking, my sharing knowledge, my reflection, my vibes, fitness things, my stamina, good stamina, grinding, and then finally I wanted to share that. And then yeah. But that Washington, Montana, Idaho, USA hills is crazy. 20 plus hills, like back to back till I literally had to say it's never ending. It seemed like it was never ending. It seemed like the minute that you get about 2 minutes of like fly, you go around another corner because you can't see the next one ahead. It's flat. You about 2 minutes. You're like, all right, maybe it's over. back on regular flat road now. And then you go around a corner. Holy sh! But no, like I said, experience and going through it is a lifesaver. So I'm already knowing. I'm already used to what steep hills is from Tennessee, the Tennessee area. I forgot what area of Tennessee. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Keep going. All of that. I'm already kind of used to it, but it's still like, damn, like it's still it's not what you wake up like, please, oh please, can I go up as many steep hills with curves hanging over cliffs as no, like it's not like something you wake up and like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, yeah, so some knowledge and things like that I wanted to share about that.